Yo, what's going on, everybody? I gave it a 5 count today, so hopefully by the time the stream started, you guys heard me from the yo today. We'll see how that worked. But it is 1 o'clock in Chicago, Illinois. That means it's time for another live stream. Today is Monday, June 6th, I want to say. Yeah, June 6th, 2022. Welcome, everybody, to another live stream. And since today is Monday, we are going to have a mukbang. Today I have something special. Not special, but new. We've been talking about it for a while. It is the new Maurten sport food. I mean, sports food. Sports food. You know, there's sports drink. Now Maurten is making sports food to the rest of us, otherwise known as like a granola bar. But they have it, and I bought 2 flavors. One is solid 225. You know, they could have gone with like vanilla, chocolate, but they decided they would go with solid 225 and solid C 225, which means I think it's because there's caffeine in this one. Let me double check on that. Is that what the C stands for? I think it stands for caffeine. But it doesn't say. See, back for full disclosure. It doesn't say anything. It actually doesn't say anything about caffeine on it, but I think that's what the C stands for. Maybe you guys could double check that for me. But that's what we're going to try out today. I ordered 4 of them total, so that way in case I liked them today, I would have some other ones to eat. But like it comes in Maurten style packaging. It looks like a Maurten. If the C stands for, maybe it stands for chocolate, I don't know. But if one of them is caffeinated, which I think caffeinated food is weird anyway, but if it is, I feel like it should come in white because the caffeine gels are white. But we'll see. We'll dig into it a little bit more in the discussion today. First, let's say hi to everyone listening on the audio-only version in the podcast. Hopefully they're having a good run today. Hopefully it's not raining and a thunderstorm where you are. We might get some of that later in the evening. It was kind of sprinkling today for me. I tested out those Tracksmith Bold Decision mint green / white rain shorts. Actually worked out pretty good today. So I tried those out today. And hopefully if you're on your run right now, you're in some safe for weather color pants. All right. And everyone watching this on YouTube later after the fact, hopefully you've got something good to snack on or good to drink and it's the end of the day for you and you're just sitting back relaxing. All right. Let's see who we got in the chat. We got Shannon says, hey, co-fam. She was here early. She was here like 10 minutes ago. She said, what's happening? David Prabhu says, afternoon. And Shannon has a question though. She says, does early rocker sensation actually force you into a faster cadence? I think a cadence runner wouldn't want to need that sensation as they pick up the pace. I'm not sure if it forces you into a faster cadence. It just, when you step into it, it just kind of like tilts you forward a little bit faster. And so I just feel like there's less time to push off normally. And so I feel like I'm doing more of a butt kick than I am like a knee drive, if that makes sense. So like, that's not what the rocker feels like, but that's what the rocker kind of does to me. So we spent a lot of time in the last video in the Metaspeed Sky Plus versus Edge Plus video talking about the early rocker that's in the Edge Plus that for me is like the predominant sensation that I get from that shoe. And so I think that's probably where that question's coming from. We got Ennis here says, hi Kofuzi and everybody, a sprint dry try after work today, finishing with a 5K run with Pip. That sounds nice. What's the dry try? How is it? What's the dry? Is it the rowing? What part makes it dry? You'll have to let me know. All right. Martha says, hi fam, just watched the video and love the comparison. She says, I think she's talking about the Edge versus Sky. I'm going to probably be able to try both at Milestone and San Diego, right? San Diego in 2 weeks. Still suspect the Edge Plus might be the best for me, but open-minded. Martha, we've been talking about it a little bit. I think you might like the Edge more. I don't know if there's other rocker speed shoes that you've tried that you can kind of get a sense for. Here's the thing. I think that people that like rockers will like the Edge, and that people that don't like rockers in their race shoes will prefer the Sky. I haven't run that idea by ASICS because, they don't preview the videos before I put them up. And so, I'll be seeing some people from ASICS this weekend. So I'll kind of see what they say as well. So that'll be, hopefully I don't have to update that video. But, I'll talk to some people at ASICS this weekend. So we'll see. And on that note, as far as scheduling for this weekend, Friday, I'm going to be in Columbus. The ASICS van is going to be stopping in Columbus at Columbus Running Company, I believe is where we're going to be. I'll be there as well. So if you're in the Columbus area, I'd love to see you guys Friday afternoon. It'll be after work. I think the time is 6 o'clock or 5:30, one of those two. So hopefully I'll see you guys there. But because I'll be in Columbus Friday's going to be a travel day for me, so I won't have any live stream Friday. And Thursday, I got to meet the cable guy. So I think our internet, we got to get something done with it. So I won't, the scheduled time is right at live stream time. So I'm going to go ahead and cancel live stream for Thursday as well. So Monday through Wednesdays, we'll have for live streams this week. All right. Tracy Smith says, hey, all, ran the inaugural 13.1 here in Chicago yesterday. Awesome. Well organized for first year and a lot of fun. No PR, but second in the age group. That's awesome. Great job, Tracy. Very cool. Second in the age group. That's amazing. Good job. I saw a lot of footage of people running it over the weekend, and I was like, oh, I wish I could have done that. But we were in Iowa over the weekend, or at least for part of it. We actually spent 7 hours driving in the car yesterday. My sister-in-law, they had their 25th anniversary is coming up soon, like this week at some point. And so their oldest child, their daughter, organized a surprise anniversary party for them. So we went over today. And we couldn't spend the whole weekend there because if we did, then it wouldn't have been a surprise because people would have seen that we were in town and they'd be like, how come you're in town? And even though we were just there the weekend before. So we had to make it a surprise. But that's why I couldn't be in town. And also the run show was this weekend as well. And so that one, they keep saying it was in Chicago, and I guess technically it was, but it's out at the Donald D. Stevens Convention Center, where that's with that other one. I don't know if I said the name right. But that one's far. That one's real far out. So it's by the airport. It's like by the airport. And I guess the airport is still in the way that the airport is configured or mapped. It's in Chicago still, but that was also on the weekend too. I saw a couple of pictures, not too many. All right. Pete G says, hi, Kofuzi. Happy Monday. Just back from a 4-mile run. And we need some new Nova Blast soon. Here's the problem, Pete. They don't come out till September. And I just feel like, man, that's so unfortunate. I'm sure ASICS is, pretty annoyed by it too. Because I feel like if those shoes came out June 1st, that's all anyone would be talking about right now. I think it's going to be my shoe of the year. It's really, really good. I just absolutely love it. You could do everything in it. So it's a really good one. So you're going to have to wait a little bit until September 1st. They say that's always been the date. But the way that every time they tell me that the release date's September 1st, they're like, the release date's going to be September 1st, which has always been our planned release date. The way they always say that to me, it always makes me sound like, it's almost like if someone were trying to gaslight me, they're like, and, it's like a Jedi mind trick. We've always wanted it to be September 1st. And so now I just repeat that. So I don't know I don't remember what they said to me before. I very rarely listen when people tell me what the release dates are, because a lot of times they move. Not a lot of times, not with ASICs, but industry-wide. Release dates are flexible. So I don't pay too close attention. I just kind of remember, oh, this is about the time of year last year when this shoe came out. So I should be, where is it? How come I don't have it yet? That's kind of like how I know release dates. All right, let me scroll down with you guys because I'm way far back in the chat. All right. Adam says, did you hear about the misdirections at the Mountains to Beach Marathon? Sheriff-led runners wrong at beginning, adding 0.38 miles. Oh my goodness. Ooh. Well, 0.38 miles is probably long enough that were like the later waves also affected. Well, I don't know. That's quite a bit to add on. And it was the sheriff. I mean, if you can't trust a sheriff, boy. Matt Byer says, some great people work at the various Columbus Running Company locations in the area. I unfortunately will not be able to make it Friday night. Oh no. That's a bummer. But if you guys aren't in the Columbus area on Friday night, Saturday morning, I get the first plane out to the East Coast. I actually fly into Dulles or Reagan. I fly into DC first thing in the morning, and then I'm supposed to take like an hour-long Uber ride from Washington, D.C. to Baltimore, because that's the summer grit party with Believe in the Run. So I'm going to be going to that. So if you guys are going to that, or thinking about going to that, if you're in the area in Baltimore, you should come by. I think there's going to be a lot of people there. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's like it's going to be a street party. Street parties are like block parties are my favorite. Like, it is an art form here in Chicago. I went to them a lot more when I didn't have kids and when day drinking was more of an accessible thing for me to do. But that's my favorite because you hang out with your friends, you're outside, you're enjoying the weather, and then basically I would usually leave around dinner time. We'd go have dinner, and then I'd be in bed by like 9, and it'd be great. And this was even before I had kids. So I just enjoy day drinking on a street, and that's kind of what this is going to be a lot of. And there'll be a lot of fun people there too, and go for a run first. So the beers will be like post-race beers, so it's going to be a good time. Hopefully I'll see a lot of you guys there. All right. Matthew Aquanero says, I ran a Mountain to Beach half with a 5-minute PR. Awesome. Congratulations. And he says, but I had a bunch of friends run the full, and the misdirection was a huge deal. Oh, man. Oh, man, that's so big. Man. Oh, boy. Michael Kim said, my kids ran the Mountains to Beach Marathon. It was fun. They probably didn't think the misdirection was fun. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Oh, wow. Luis says, I hopped on a half marathon in Rock and Roll San Diego, no taper and res, but did a 1:35. Awesome. Let's do this one. There we go. A 1:35.55. Very happy with that. And now for the 2.5 in July. Man, that's going to be hot, right? That's not going to be super hot. I feel like that's going to be super hot. Ooh. Terry says, though, that the release dates are important because it means that last year's great shoes go on sale. That's true. That's also true. I feel like I haven't checked recently. Are Nova Blast 2s on sale? I have my second pair of Nova Blast 2s. Those have been my kind of casual shoe lately since I got the version 3. So I've been taking the kids to school in that, just like walking around the neighborhood, going to the grocery store in that, and I have been enjoying using that as a casual shoe. It works as a dad shoe as well. Thomas One says, hey, Co and Run Fam, back from vacation. I can't wait to see you, Mike, in Columbus on Friday. Cool. Awesome. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to seeing the van. Part of me is like, I've seen some pictures of the van now, and part of me is like, is this just a van with a bunch of shoes inside? But I'm like, oh, it's a van with a bunch of shoes inside. I don't know what else is going on in the van. I want to get a ride in the van somewhere at some point. I've been told I'm not going to be riding in the van, but I would like to ride in the van at some point. We'll see. Hopefully I don't get kidnapped in the van. But yeah, so it'll be fun. All right, let's try this snacks. I'm going to go with the Solid 225. The Maurten Solid 225. Here's some stats on it. It is an oat-based energy bar. That's what it says here. Solid 225 is an oat-based energy bar. Ingredients. First ingredient, any guesses? First ingredient is fructose glucose syrup. Second is gluten-free oat. Third is maltodextrin. Fourth is rice flour. Fifth is sugar. Then sunflower oil, glucose syrup, rice bran salt, emulsifier, which is lecithin. That's soy, right? And then rice extract. And then this is surprising because it's, I don't know who made this or who co-packed it or whatever, but it's made from Maurten out of Sweden. And I usually feel like foods from Europe are really good about cross-contaminants from an allergen perspective. But this says, may contain traces of milk, soy, wheat, nuts, peanuts, and sesame. That feels like a lot. Like whenever I like buying foods that are like from Canada, because usually they're very, like, the labels read very clean from an allergen parent perspective. So this is a bit surprising, but all right. Will says basically it's sugar. Yeah, it's a sugar bar. It's a sugar bar with a little bit of oats and rice. So let's see what it looks like. Oh, okay. All right. Let's see. It looks like it's very sticky. Let's see if we get a close up on it. Let the camera focus. There. So it's got that, and then it's very sticky and very gooey. There's no flavor to it. They're like, it just tastes like rice. Yeah. There's no like vanilla. It's just oats, rice, oil, and sugar. You know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of like the old school Korean quote unquote treats, stuff that my dad likes. He'll be like, "Oh boy, did you get some of that?" And he'll be like, "Oh boy, let's eat some." And he'll sit down, and it'll be in a very elaborate package, and everything's individually wrapped into little bars. And he'll unwrap it, and he'll just start chowing down, and he'll be like, "Oh, these are so good, aren't they good?" And I'll be like, "Tastes bland. There's no seasoning on it." I feel like someone took like a sweet rice porridge or oatmeal, like a very basic oatmeal, compressed it into this shape, and is giving it to me to eat. I mean, it's not a candy bar. This is really bland. I'm surprised, especially for how much sugar is in it. So, stat-wise, 225 calories, 3.6 grams of fat, 0 cholesterol, 0.26 grams of, or 260 milligrams of sodium, which is not that much, and 42.8 grams of carbs, 2.6 grams of protein. So basically, the ingredient list reads like sugar, and the nutritional profile reads like sugar, and it does not taste like sugar. Or maybe my palate is so sugar desensitized that I don't taste how sweet it is. I mean, there's a sweetness to it, but it just tastes like rice and oats. Frank says they should have added some cinnamon or something. Yeah, I don't know. This one's like surprising. Just not great. I mean, the scratch ones I think are much more satisfying, although the scratch ones are very airy. It feels like there's a lot of volume, but not a lot of density. This is very dense. And it's of a nature where, like, I think I could see myself putting this into a running pack, eating this on a very, very long run, and it treating my stomach very well. I feel like that's like probably like the main thing they were going for, is like the least offensive taste. So that way, no matter how like in knots your stomach is on a ultra run, you could still eat it. You know, I mean, maybe that's the thing. Or maybe this is like the least common denominator for global sales. Like whether you're selling this in East Africa, Asia, Europe, South America, US, like people will feel like, okay, it's all right. Yeah. But yeah, there's no flavor. There's no flavor to this at all. Yeah, Terry says, yum, original no flavor is my favorite. That's what I mean, that's what we're getting here. That's what we're getting. Yeah. Adam says, may contain means it's produced in a plant that uses those ingredients for other things. They can't guarantee that they wipe them from the equipment. Yeah, I mean, I'm very familiar with the may contain language. It's extremely vague if you have a food allergy. So that's a little bit kind of frustrating, but it is surprising because it's like a European product, and usually like America, like the FDA, in terms of like basically FDA generally, it's like they let everything go. Canadian food regulations are much more strict in terms of what's allowed to go, what allowed to happen in a food processing facility. And similarly, the European stuff tends to be very well managed, and there's a lot of rules that ensure that you're getting what's supposed to be in there and nothing that's not supposed to be in there. So that's just a surprise. I'm not too disappointed about it, but it's a little bit surprising. Jonathan Crossley says, is it kind of like the old late 90s, early 2000s Power Bar texture? It's not, because that would I feel like those early Power Bars would pull fillings because they're so sticky, but like it kind of has that film on the outside of it in terms of like this solid 225. It's not delicious. You know, like a lot of like the other bars that I eat, I feel like, you know, if in a pinch my kids could eat it and they'd be fine. Well, my daughter probably couldn't, but the baby could eat it, and they'd be like, okay, this is tasty. I see why you like these, Dad. This, they'd be like, what is this? Why is this like this? You know, and I'd be like, I don't know. It's European, maybe. Sean Devlin says, speaking of casual dad shoes, would a Clifton be a good option for banging around standing desk at work, etc.? Currently wearing the Nimbus Lights. Yeah, I think the Cliftons would be a good option there. I think, everyone gravitates towards the Bondi, but like sometimes I feel like the Bondi upper is a little bit too snug for what the rest of the shoe. I feel like there's a mismatch. And I feel like the Clifton upper feels a little bit more relaxed to me than the Bondi upper sometimes. I think the Bondi upper just is like a little bit overbuilt. So I do like the Clifton a lot. I'm thinking about getting my wife a pair of Cliftons. She's in the Ride 13 still. She needs a new pair of walk jog shoes. She does not like running shoes that look like running shoes. So that's the thing. But I feel like the Clifton design has come a long way. And she's probably seen a lot of Cliftons out lately too. So that's the one that I'm thinking about getting her. I've shown her the mock before, and she's like, no, I do not want that shoe. That looks ridiculous. And I'm like, it's one of the most beautiful running shoes out there. And she's like, I know, I don't like running shoes. But I think that the Nimbus Lite is a good one too. I wear that one casually. I like the upper on it. It's really comfy, especially the tongue for the Nimbus Lite 3. It's like that knit tongue. So that's one I've been traveling in a lot too. So I think both of them are good. Matthew Cornero says, did Maurten give you the lockbox too? Some of the marketing around the release of Solid was hilarious. No, because I bought this off the feed. And I bought these myself. And the feed, I love the feed. I really feel like they should reach out, or I should reach out to them, and we should work on at least some promo codes or something. Because the feed is definitely a hustle. Because I just feel like the feed is like, one of the reasons why I like the feed is because they'll let you buy a mix and match box of Maurten gels. So if you want half dozen regular and half dozen caffeinated, they'll send you like a bundle. But like when they send you stuff, sometimes you'll get stuff in like a box, but sometimes it feels like they just bought a pallet of something and they're just like opening a bigger, it's like as if I went to Costco and then if I were selling you power bars, I just took some from the Costco box and threw them in a box and shipped them to you. So I ordered 4 of these bars. They just put them in like a little brown paper bag to sequester them in the package. And then I bought a 30 pack of Science and Sport. I've bought many 30 packs of Science and Sport before. It comes in a full pack, like the kind of box that you would see like at a running store. You could pull off the top and then all of the gels stand up tall. So people can just grab one if they want to buy it. And when I got it from the feed, it was just a regular cardboard box with the 4 bars in there in a little paper bag. And then the Science and Sport gels were just kind of thrown in. Like someone counted out 30 and just tossed them in a box. So it's like, it's a hustle, but they're working. And I feel like they hire a lot of pro runners, people that are just trying to make the dream work. And so I kind of want to support that, so it's really fun. All right, now let's try the Solid C. Yeah, Kurt Steve says, yeah, LOL, a brown paper bag. Seems like you bought like a 40 at the local bodega. Yeah. I mean, basically the size of the bag was like the kind of paper bags that like when you buy a greeting card and they put it in a little bag for you. Like that's the size of bag that it was, and it was extra crinkly, just the same way. So pretty funny. All right, let's try the C. I don't remember if it stands for chocolate or if it stands, I think it stands for chocolate, not caffeine. So here's the ingredients. The first ingredient is different on this one. The first ingredient for the regular one was what? Fructose glucose syrup. The first ingredient for the C, chocolate, is gluten-free oat. Then it's fructose glucose syrup. Then the maltodextrin, sugar rice flour, sunflower oil, reduced fat cocoa, rice bran, salt emulsifier, the lecithin, and rice extract. But there is reduced fat cocoa in here. So that changes let's see if it changes the stats. Same amount of calories, same amount of fat, a little bit more salt, 0.27 grams, and a little bit less sugar, 41 grams versus the 42.8. So 1.3 grams less sugar in here, and a little bit more protein, 2.9 versus 2.6. So basically another sugar bar. CV76 says C means degree. No, C means chocolate, apparently, or cocoa. Because here's what it looks like. get the focus. I have to cover my eyes because the camera has like an eye auto detect. So it looks like this. I've seen lots of other bars that look like this, and it's still glossy and sticky and gooey, and like I'm pulling a lot of tension on it to pull it apart. Let's see how it tastes. This one tastes good. Get this one. It kind of tastes like you ever get like a Rice Krispie treat really fresh, and it's like the marshmallow like hasn't completely hardened again yet, and it's very chewy and not crunchy. It kind of tastes like a chocolate Rice Krispie treat. Frank says C stands for can has flavor. I like that. That's funny. That's funny. Terry says it looks like an original Power Bar. No, it's still like a different kind of chewy than that. Like, there's a little bit of crunch to it from, I'm thinking like the rice pieces or something. Or maybe it's the oat. It doesn't quite taste so much like sweet rice porridge like the last one. This one is good. I like it. The interesting thing is, I wonder if this one will have as global of an appeal, because the chocolate feels very like a very sweet milky chocolate, or the cocoa, not like a stronger, more bitter chocolate. And so I think this will appeal to more of the American market, which tends to we like our chocolate very, very milky sweet, candy sweet. So, yeah, this one's good. This one's good. Get this 225C if you want it. I think this will travel relatively well. Your fingers will be sticky after eating it. But, you know, your fingers will be sticky after eating pretty much most of the new bars that are out there. There's no palm oil in here, which I think is interesting. I was surprised about that. But it's sunflower oil. I think it's the sunflower oil that's in here that's keeping the thing kind of a little bit wet. Yeah. Stone Cold says, I binged on some of your older videos when you were chunkier. At what point did you notice performance gain from the weight loss? I'm not sure I noticed performance gain from the weight loss. I feel like I noticed performance gain from consistency. So, like, I used to be a runner that was like, you know, I ran from like early spring to usually a little bit before Halloween, and then I was done for the winter. And then I'd go into hibernation mode. You know, put on your winter coat for the cold weather kind of thing. And so you would kind of be starting over a lot. And once I was like, no, you can run all winter long, even in Chicago. That's when, like, when it got to the spring, I was like, ooh, I feel great. And my times are really rapidly increasing. So I think the consistency is what really changed it. I'm not sure that I correlate a weight loss with a performance gain. I've never really looked at it in terms of that way. I'm sure if I went back and like charted, you know, the PRs versus, or the running times versus the weight, I'm sure that there's some sort of data to, or conclusion to extrapolate from there, but it's not something I really paid attention to. Name Harb says, are those bars expensive as well as comparing Maurten gels to others, and are they worth it? They are pricier. I don't remember what they were. I want to say they were like $4 or $5 a bar, kind of like how Maurten gels are more expensive. So yeah, they are a lot more expensive than, say, even like a really nice newer bar. I think they're probably in the RX bar range, because those bars are very expensive. My wife and I love Go Macro bars. We eat them all the time. Those are our favorite. At the grocery store, when I buy them, they're like $2.19, I think, per bar. We usually don't buy them by the box. We should probably just buy them by the box. But every time I go to the grocery store, I pass it as I walk home from dropping off the kids at school. So we go frequently. I'll pick up a handful every time. These, I think, are much more than that, if I remember correctly. Are they worth it? I'm not sure. Probably won't be buying them much more, but like I buy the Maurten gels. I don't really buy the Maurten drink, and these are tasty. This is a good bar, and will I feel like this could be a nice thing to have. Like there's certainly like it's kind of like the way that it's similar to Power Bar is that like when you ate a Power Bar before a track meet in high school, you were certain you were going to do well, right? So I feel like this could be a good food to have before a race. So like, I bring 6 gels to a race. I know a lot of people like to have a gel before the race starts. I don't usually do that. I usually just have a bigger breakfast. Because there's usually a lot of time between when I eat and when the race starts. But I could see bringing one of these and feeling like this isn't going to sit too heavy in my stomach. I feel like the brand kind of like association that I have with Maurten is that it's like clean burning fuel, and it's not going to be all gunky in a way. So, I mean, I already ran today, so I'm not going to run right afterwards. So I can't really speak to that yet. But in terms of like just a pure taste test, they're tasty. Are they worth the extra price? From a flavor and enjoyment perspective, no. But like, I could see getting them every once in a while, Stevie76 says, I see Ben Parks chugging orange juice right before a race. Yeah, you know what? I think that people don't realize just how much sugar orange juice has. It's incredible. It's incredible. I've never seen him do that. I'm trying to think. Have I seen him do that? All right, let's keep scrolling down. Shen says, I thought I saw the box of bars were cheaper than per bar than per Maurten gel. Not sure if they're interchangeable though. Yeah, I don't think that you would, like, I would not say that like you would bring like 6 of these for a marathon, for example. Like, I don't think that's how they want them to be used. I think that they would say for running, you probably want the gel. But I would think that for like, so like the way I'm envisioning using this is like either like to eat this not right before you start running, but like for people that have like a hard time figuring out like, what do I eat? I know I'm supposed to feel better. Someone mentioned they just listened to the Believe in the Run podcast talking about graham crackers. But I feel like this could be something like if you have a hard time like eating before running because things sit in your stomach funny, I feel like this would probably be a good one. I feel like this and probably like the UCAN foods, like those chocolate bars, because that food tastes like medicine in a way. It feels like food you would get like at a hospital. They're tasty, but they're different. But those sit in the stomach really light, and I feel like these will sit very lightly too, because the none thing in here is like super intense. Everything's very mild, very smooth. So the regular flavored one is very boring. The chocolate one, the C, is good. Chris Dyke says, I'm triggered. We can't find a single Go Macro bar in all of Vancouver. I've been on the hunt for weeks. The oatmeal chocolate chip is our go-to. Here's what's annoying to me, Chris. So, we have a peanut allergy in our house. So, like, even for stuff we know our daughter's not going to eat, we still try to avoid having peanut butter in the house. And so we usually get the sunflower butter one. That's really good. But at the grocery store that I go to, they have sunflower butter, and then they have a chocolate chip or a chocolate chip peanut butter one or something like that. So we never get that one. We only get the sunflower butter one. I'm dying for them to bring in some other flavors. That oatmeal chocolate chip one is so good. It's a really good one. So I would love to have those Go Macro bars too. I just want more flavors at Go Macro bars. And then I was certain, because I forget what podcast was I listening to. It was a big podcast, and they were like, Go Macro Bars is one of our sponsors. I'm like, awesome. That means that more people are going to start buying them. That means they're going to be in more demand. They'll be in more places. I'll get more flavors. But I haven't seen much change yet. So I'm a bit disappointed. So, like, yeah, Go Macro, they're doing some good stuff. I like it. I just need more of it. I need more. Naim Harb says, I love the gels, kick faster, and the calf ones are just great. The drink mix takes at least 15 minutes of shaking to dissolve, so you don't like them. Does it really? I don't remember that. but I've only had it like 2 or 3 times. But for like caffeine, for drinks, like I guess I don't take drink, I'm not elite, so I'm not getting a drink bottle at the tables, so I'm usually just drinking sports drink. So like for me drinking them, I'm drinking them like before or maybe after. And at that point, I'm like, I have many options. I don't need an extra special expensive one. The Maurten gels, I'll pay a little extra for that one because they work so well in a race, So like that's what's different about that. But I guess if I were to start using the bring a bottle for your first like 8 miles of the marathon kind of person, which a lot of people have been doing, it seems, then maybe I'd try the calf or the Maurten drink more. Sean Devlin says, I remember my high school coach giving us Gator gum before meets, gave us an edge on the competition. That's really funny. I find the gum products to be the strangest. Are they? No, I think still Stroop waffles are still the strangest, but the gum products I think are the strangest running product that are out there. Stroop waffles aren't strange. They're just unique in that it's like, why are Stroop waffles popular? That doesn't make sense because it's such a delicate thing, but like I think they're delicious. Also, like I forget, is it Grandma's? I forgot what race map I was looking at recently, but one of the sponsors is the maple syrup brand that just sells like little ketchup packet size, like little things of just maple syrup. And it's not like runner formulated or anything. It's just syrup in a packet. And they're like positioning it as like runner fuel. I think it might be at Grandma's. It would make sense. If you're at Duluth, you're basically Canada. And so then the maple syrup would make a lot of sense. Super Unjit says he likes Kind Bar before runs. I love Kind Bars. I used to have them at the office all the time. A lot of Kind Bars have a lot of peanuts in it. That's the only problem with having them in our house. So I only get them when I travel now. When I know I'm not going to be around my kids for a while. But the almond, sea salt almond one, that's my favorite. And then there's one with like coconut something. That one's really good too. They make really good ones. I like Kind Bars a lot. Oh, Nubetra says that the Untapped is Ted King's brand, and he's from Vermont, so that's the maple syrup connection. So it's not Canadian? Still good, though. Still good. They had maple syrup ice cream at the running event, and that maple syrup soft serve was very good. It was really good. Stevie76 says to bring ranch packets. There's, as far as I know, there's one road marathon in Iowa. It's in Des Moines. I think that if I ever run the Des Moines Marathon, I'm going to have to bring a ranch packet just to eat as like a gag at some point. Or maybe I'll spectate and I'll just hand out people like one in each hand, It'll be like Science and Sport, Hidden Valley Ranch, and just see what people's reactions are. Oh my I don't know why I think that's so fun. I don't know why that's so fun. Oh, man. All right. Jackie says, hey, Mike, got my pair of Tri 19s and Speed 2 for the season. The 19s might not be the best for summer running. You know what, though? They're better than the 18s. The 18s were hot. The 19s were better. So, maybe they're not the best, but I guess, no, maybe too soon for that joke. But it could have been worse. The 18s were worse, so. Super Engine says, in Des Moines, ranch packet in one hand and corn cob in the other. You just run, like, pouring the ranch on top of the corn and just... And Jonathan Crossley says, if you run a race in Canada, definitely need the maple syrup packets. Do people run with the maple syrup packets in Canada? Maple syrup is like I guess I want to say it's like a religion up there, but it's like ranch in the Midwest, I suppose. It's not considered like a thing that we have an obsession over. It's just everywhere. And then the thing that I love about Midwesterners is that a lot of Midwesterners don't realize that the things that are very important to them culinarily are peculiarly Midwestern. I just think that that's amazing. It's not like egocentrism either. It's just an assumption that this is delicious. Why doesn't everyone eat it? Like the Casey's breakfast pizza. It's delicious. It's hard to believe that it's not nationwide. I feel like that's just like a common misconception of Midwesterners. Jonathan Crossley says, I know there are some athletes who make a quote unquote hydration drink with water, maple syrup, and salt. I mean, that's all your body needs. You need the sugar, you need the salt, you need the liquid. So it's not bad. What else was I watching? I was watching some sort of. I went down a weird YouTube rabbit hole one day about people that are making their own sport drink. And so they were buying and I feel like they were buying stuff from like the same vendors, like industrial chemical makers that I was buying stuff. I used to work in a research lab a long time ago. I was a cell biologist. Like this is a couple lifetimes ago, I guess, at this point. And you order all sorts of chemicals and materials that you need to conduct the experiments. And I feel like that's where these people were getting like just powder dextrose. And they're like, you mix some of this, a little bit of salt, a little bit of this other stuff that I bought, and it all comes in those big white tubs. And they're like, and then they would show like this baggie and like, and here's my sports drink. And then they would mix it and be like, it's so delicious. Because then they would be like, and then you just buy a couple of ascorbic acid tablets and crumble them up, put that in there, So it was interesting. Davin Patterson says, I'm a pastry chef looking at Maurten gel ingredients. I don't get what makes them special. I think I could make something better and better tasting. Davin, if you make something, I'll taste it. Send it to me, I'll be your taste tester. Matt O'Connor says, breakfast pizza, can you explain? In parentheses, out of touch Californian here. Okay, so Casey's is a gas station, and their specialty is rural America. And so a lot of these gas stations, a lot of gas stations generally make a little bit of money on gas, but they make a lot more money on stuff like cigarettes. It was what it used to be, but now like all the other stuff that you get in the convenience store that's inside. Casey's in a lot of towns is like the only place where it's like replaced like the American kind of like family restaurant in a way, but it's like a fast food place. So if a town isn't big enough to have its own McDonald's, then like the place where you get fast food is Casey's. It's where you get coffee. You might even, like if you need to get milk and eggs and you don't want to drive all the way to the Walmart, that's where you go to Casey's. So that's what Casey's is. And they have a pretty decent selection of pizzas that they make. Now, I'm not saying like if someone is a pizza snob, I'm not saying bring them to Casey's. But like, as far as like fast food pizza goes, it's not terrible. I would say the best one is the breakfast pizza. Here, the ingredients as far as I understand: pizza crust, scrambled egg, breakfast sausage crumbled up, and then topped with country gravy, like biscuits and gravy. So that is the Casey's breakfast pizza. I think that there might be some cheddar cheese or Monterey Jack shredded cheese put on top too. I'm not positive. I have to double check. I haven't eaten a Casey's pizza in a while. But I think that's pretty much it. Yeah. Let's see what else we got here. Scott Squirrel says, I'm describing every convenience store. You know what? Yeah, I'm describing every convenience store. But these are specifically in rural areas. So I think Casey's biggest competitor is probably Come and Go, spelled K-U-M ampersand go. Very strange name. But that's it, you know. But it's like kind of like a modern version of Woolworths, I guess. Fantabulous Dobke says, I haven't tried this myself, but apple juice and water should be a good liquid to accompany gels. That's the same ratio of, you know, that's what every parent makes for their when they had young kids. Because like if you give kids just like a big cup full of orange juice, they're just gonna be bouncing off the walls. So you always dilute it half and half, right? It goes down well. Pretty tasty. Yeah. Stevie76 says, I love the smell of breakfast pizza in the morning. That's really funny. All right, the Solid C 225 is good. I can't help but think a little bit though, like if this product had released in April or March, let's say, I would have said this is a April Fool's Day joke. Why would Maurten make a bar? It doesn't make a complete amount of sense to me. And like, I'm really surprised that they haven't done a recovery product. And that's where I felt like this bar should have been. And so I'm surprised it's not like 10 to 15 grams of protein. But it's sugar. And it's tasty. Well, at least the chocolate one is. So I'm a little bit confused by the product, a little bit. Because I feel like I have sugar intake pre and during activity covered. I feel like they need a recovery product, but maybe this was easier to execute. And they thought they'd do this. New Butcher says, the idea of Maurten Solid reminds me of like Huel and those other technical meal replacement type things. I'm starting to really like the Huel. I bought so much of it. I'm still not done with it all. And what I like to do is come back from a run, get the water on the boil, put it in, stir it, put the lid on so it steeps, go take a shower, and then when I'm done with the shower, I'm ready to eat. Whew. That last bite I took of that bar was a big bite. It tastes salty. There's not that much salt in it, 270 milligrams. But it's not an insignificant amount of salt. It's a decent amount of salt. But it tastes salty at the end. Interesting. Matthias Ventos says, I did an ultra in Texas, late April. Went to Buc-ee's twice. It's a different category altogether. You know, I've never been to a Buc-ee's. I'm going to have to try that if I'm ever, next time I'm in the area. Do they have them in Austin? That's the only place in Texas that I think I ever usually go. I guess maybe I'll be in Houston in January. I think I'll be in Austin in December. So people will be like, oh, you're going to get some barbecue when you're in Texas? I'm like, no, I'm going to go to Buc-ee's. Colin Lehman says, on Maurten's site, they say it's for post-race or post-workout for marathon runners. I think that you need more protein for post-workout. And more salt. But I don't know. So, I mean, I guess that they were thinking about the right way, the way that I was thinking about it. Not that they have to think about it my way, that my way is the right way. But, interesting. It's an interesting product. I'm not sure I'm sold on it, but I feel like it's kind of like the drink. Some people are going to really love it and swear by it, and that might be the only Maurten product that they enjoy. I'm going to stick to the gels on it. All right, Jonathan Crossley says that the Buc-ee's are scattered around all of the big Texas cities. Okay, so I'm going to have to make a special trip out and see what I can get. And probably ask for baked beans with no bacon in it or something like that. All right. I think that's a good place to leave it for today, guys. Tomorrow, I don't know if it's going to be tomorrow. It'll be tomorrow or Wednesday. Next video is going to be about, I don't have it on right now, the Polar Pacer. Not the Pacer Pro, but the Polar Pacer. It's a $200 watch, which is missing some sensors that I used to think were really important, and I'm not sure how much I need them. So I've been running with that for a little while. That'll be the next video whenever it comes out. But before then, well, maybe not before then, but we'll also definitely have a happy hour, not a happy hour, a live stream tomorrow, Tuesday. Maybe we'll play a game. I gotta make sure I can find a game for us to play. So we'll do that, but we'll have a live stream tomorrow. Same time as today, 1 p.m. Central Time. Hopefully I'll see you there. In the meantime, be safe out there, everybody. Thanks.